Some major news has surfaced regarding the Kansas City Chiefs, so there is a lot to be explored. How are the Chiefs coping with a stark and sad defeat? How is Patrick Mahomes currently, and is he a cause for concern more than ever as the season wears on? And of course, there is the matter of the latest newcomer to the team. Could this one be the missing piece that the team has been craving? There is so much ground to cover, and fans of the Chiefs would not want to miss any of the important bits. Let's untangle all this mess. Clearly, in all regards, it has proved right that the Kansas City Chiefs are ready to spend any resources required to get the former second-round wide receiver Tyquan Thornton. And trust me, this would change their offense in such a way that the rest of the league would not enjoy. Thornton was drafted in 2022 by the New England Patriots, and sure enough, he is all that he is made of: lightning speed. His impressive 40-yard dash timing of 4.28 seconds recorded during the NFL Combine proved the general consensus that he is among the fastest players in the league. The Chiefs have spent a considerable amount of time and effort looking for a deep threat wide receiver since Tyreek Hill has been a "how does this concern Kansas City so much?" It is clear that the Chiefs have needed a stable deep threat wide receiver ever since Tyreek Hill left. Yes, there have been moments where players such as Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Sky Moore have been great, but they have seriously lacked that dependable speedster who can get behind the defense. Otherwise, teams would pay for stuffing the box with extra defenders, even with Travis Kelce opening up the field and run game. Thornton's tenure in New England was, in fact, a disappointing repeat of his previous stunning season, as injuries and inconsistent quarterback doings hampered his outputs. In 2 seasons, he managed to take down just 33 receptions for only 514 yards and 5 touchdowns. However, things would be completely different in Kansas City, provided they could get Patrick Mahomes to play in Thornton's dimensions. With both having Mahomes throwing at Thornton's speed and his ability to get away from defenders, things could be very exciting. However, with the offensive mind of Andy Reid, maybe, just maybe, they can finally unlock Thornton's potential. But this signing goes beyond pure playing circumstances. It is a move of a different nature, a tactical one. The Chiefs are aware that the scope of other teams, especially those in the AFC, rivals their reach, so hiring a player like Thornton means that such teams have to make defensive sacrifices aimed at expansion of other players such as Kelce, among others. Thornton is likewise a low-risk, high-reward acquisition. He is young, possesses a great deal of potential, and most importantly, complements the Kansas City Chiefs' value of getting the best out of people. If this pays off, it could be the change that propels Kansas City over the edge and into another Super Bowl contention. Now, let's turn our focus to the person we all know to be the face of the franchise, Patrick Mahomes, who rarely relaxes. Thanks to his superb display on the pitch, it goes without a doubt that he is a leader in the right context, on and off the pitch. As this off-field chemistry of players is a constant talking point, Mahomes has been in the news for something even better: the will to change and grow as per the season demands. Towards the later part of the season, there is quite some work to do on Mahomes' dossier, from how fit he is to considering his leadership, as well as what he does out of the sphere. To begin with, we can look at the trap for the elephant, his recall of past injuries. At a news conference organized in connection with the promotion of the team's next games, Mahomes, the star quarterback, tried to ease the worries regarding a persistent hand injury that is believed to have affected him from Week 5. While brushing aside fears, Mahomes confidently stated that no injury would keep him off the field. "It's football. Nobody's 100% at this point in the season. You've just got to push through it and be smart about how you approach the week," Mahomes told reporters. He did, though, concede that this was a situation he and the Chiefs' team doctors were necessarily keeping an eye on, lest it got worse. No doubt there are impediments, but he is still in the game, and it is business as usual for him, providing an example for other players. Mahomes' adventurous spirit was equally evident elsewhere. He further explained how he has welcomed any and all challenges that have come his way during the course of the season. He has faced the fact that defensive coordinators in the NFL have upped the ante by employing tougher defenses, which have made him alter his style of play. This has entailed adjusting his mechanics and stepping up his game in making decisions when that's being defended. At that point, Mahomes explained how the head coach Andy Reid and quarterbacks coach Matt Nagy have dedicated much of their time to him to teach him these new defensive schemes. It's all about having the right mindset and faith in the system, he said, illustrating his commitment into even the most trivial details of his performance. This flexibility and adaptability, even when you are one of the best quarterbacks in the league, is what makes people admire Mahomes even more. Equally astonishing, however, is the improvement of Mahomes as a member of the locker room. A few days after the Chiefs' heartbreaking defeat, and more on that later, Mahomes called a team meeting. He is said to have given a pep talk of sorts during the meeting and turned to his fellow teammates and asked them to concentrate once again on the game inside their heads. This was also seen as a considerable act of leadership, as most players at that time spoke highly about the low morale, which was within the team, and how Mahomes was able to help them turn that around. Even when he was dealing with his own issues or wasn't performing well, he has been consistent in his selflessness in making sure that everyone else is all right. Away from sports, Mahomes is on a journey of creating a mark which goes way further than the field. For instance, he recently worked with a Kansas City charity and helped provide food for children this Christmas season. It is certainly not the only charitable endeavor Mahomes has taken part in, and in fact, it shows which principles Mahomes stands for and how he associates with the Chiefs and Kansas City. Whether on the field, leading a team, or engaging in selfless acts towards society, time and again, Mahomes proves that aside from being a second-to-none quarterback, he is a role model looking up to. Whatever your opinion of him, may you love him or hate him, there is no aspect about him that does not show potential franchise players bear the cross. His commitment, presence, and qualities of character makes certain that he is not going anywhere and will be a pillar of the team's success for several years to come. And towards the end of the season, he will again continue to be the center of attention for the public, not only because of how well he is going to perform, but also because of how well he is going to lead his teammates and the community. At this point, it is necessary to turn to the most important point of focus, the recent defeat of the Chiefs. They lost the game against the Buffalo Bills with a score of 30-21. This certainly was a bitter experience to both supporters and players alike. Which was the major fault that led to this loss? Let's break this down. Attacking an enemy defense offense as a whole was the number one issue, and it was the most obvious. Shockingly, for a club famous for its explosive whirring of playmakers, the Kansas City Chiefs could not find any rhythm in this game. Patrick Mahomes, the player on whom the team's fortunes rest, had an off game, which was rather unfortunate. His figures, 23 of 33 passes completed for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns, do not seem bad after all, but they do not capture the essence of the matter, which of course led to him being sacked many times by the Bills, forcing bad throws, some missed opportunities, and more importantly, a final interception on the last drive of the game. All the turnovers and the inability to make a few key plays were more than enough to nullify any momentum the Chiefs had hoped to establish. Wide receivers, too, had a disappointing performance. Incomplete passes at the worst times killed drives and exposed the problems of on-game chemistry and timing of the offense. These problems have been more pronounced in the past couple of games, showing that some help is needed. This is where Tyquan Thornton, the latest member of the team, comes in handy. He may have the speed and agility the offense has lacked, but it turns out there are more challenges to be overcome. Failures in ground attack. Another Achilles heel in this team was the running game. Isaiah Pacheco, a player who has done well throughout the past matches, was unable to run the ball against the tough defensive unit of Buffalo. When they were unable to find any success running the ball, The Chiefs were forced to depend too much on Mahomes and the passing game, which was exactly what the Bills' defense wanted. It was difficult to do much offensive creative thinking when the entire offensive set is focused on a single dimension, as it was in this case. Even Coach Andy Reid agrees that they have to be more inventive. We've got to do a better job of mixing things up and keeping defenses on their toes. Flaws in the strategy. Offensively, the most glaring weakness was the pass coverage, especially considering that it is not something the Chiefs are known for. Of course, there was pressure on Josh, courtesy of the pass rush spearheaded by Christopher Jones, but it was not sufficient to force the Buffalo offense to stall. In turn, he was able to complete 262 yards and 2 touchdowns capsules to the great relief of the slackening Chiefs defenders. Gaps in papering over these play rests were plenty, not the least being the most damaging of all, the quarter-ending tug-of-war 26-yard dash gift from Allen for a last-minute touchdown. Currently, the defense is one of the stronger units in the team performances this season. However, the performance of this game revealed some weaknesses which will need to be fixed. Whether it is fostering better coverage in the back end or containing scrambling quarterbacks, changes are quite clearly required going forward. Expectations for the future. Although the disappointment of this defeat is great, it gives grounds to believe that this could be the cusp of a new horizon for the Chiefs. Every great team, such as this one, has had its share of challenges, and every now and then, the worse the challenge experienced, the better the outcome. Kansas City has been one of the most stable teams in the league over this season, and this hurdle only presents room for introspection and healing. It might come as a disappointment to the supporters, but such losses almost always result in a change of course in tendency and increases their tenacity. One thing we have come to know about this team is that they are good at dealing with serious threats. The Chiefs have always tended to be in the past, and there is no reason to think that it will be any different this time. They also have a very capable roster under capable leadership in the figure of Andy Reid, which gives them all the chances to adjust properly and come back better, deeper into weeks to come. Supporters should not worry. It is only one long campaign, with many more entertaining episodes, and the best may be yet to come out of this. There go the 3 significant news updates regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. One player, Tyquan Thornton, can be the ignition that this offense in the second half of the season is waiting. Do not be surprised when Patrick Mahomes goes off, because he continues to show why it isn't just generational talent, but a great leader as well. And the most recent loss is disappointing? Yes. But let's remember, even the greatest team in the history of sports has lessons to learn. What do you reckon? Do you think Tyquan Thornton is what the Chiefs have been missing in terms of a deep threat? Should fans be worried over Patrick Mahomes' injury on his hand? Will Kansas City be able to recover from the loss? Kindly share with me your views in the comments section. And also, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for more updates.